Welcome to Backstage with Becca with special guest Isaac Phaman Reynolds. Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Backstage with Becca. On this episode, their credits include Over Here, Off-Broadway, the East Coast premiere of Allegiance at Speakeasy Stage Co, and The Donkey Show at ART. Currently, you can catch them bringing magic to the stage at the Lyric Theater and Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on Broadway. Please welcome Isaac Phaman Reynolds.
Hi, Becca. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. I'm excited to talk with you.
I'm so excited.
Big day talking about Cursed Child over here, and I'm so excited because I love the Harry Potter universe.
Oh, good. Yay, I'm so glad. Me too. Big fan.
I love the necklace, the choke.
Oh, thank you so much. These are my go-tos. Kind of wear these every single day, so these have just become my staples.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Thank you.
Just expressing yourself, which is the best. So,
any way I can.
yes, always. So, first of all, how are you? How is life? How is New York and Broadway and that stuff?
Oh gosh, yeah, life is good right now. New York is, it's the summer. My birthday was 2 days ago and happened to be one of the hottest days in New York, which was just lovely. And it's about to rain, so now it's gonna be super humid. So it's New York is great. I love it. I love it here. And life is good as of right now. So yeah.
Yay! Well, happy belated birthday too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
gosh.
much.
I feel like you're gonna make me feel old, but how old did you turn?
I just turned 28.
Okay, so we're not that far apart, but you're definitely younger than me.
Okay. I don't mean to say this, but I would literally never tell. You look so young. You're gorgeous.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, you look like probably, I would have guessed early 20s. I'm gonna be honest.
I'll take it. I will absolutely take it. I'm hiding this camera isn't really showing all my grays that much, so I'm grateful for that.
I have 3, and my mom's they're lucky to have
Perfect.
it. So I mean,
Totally.
I was 25.
There we go. If they're lucky, then I've got about a million strands of luck back here, so we're good to go.
Yes, winning. So I want to get into all the things theater.
Yeah.
And you have an impressive resume already under your belt.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, premieres and the school you went to, and but I want to first ask, what first inspired you to pursue theater and performing?
Sure. Let's see. I would say my love for theater really started, well, actually, let me go back. My love for just performing in general started when I was really, really young. I grew up in central Oklahoma, and there's not a dense theater scene there, but it's spurted throughout. And I remember when I was really, really young, I went to go see my cousin Carol in a production of The Nutcracker where I can't remember what they were dancing, but I just remember thinking, oh my God, they're up on that stage. That has to be me. So I started in ballet super young because I just wanted to perform, period. And then as I started getting older, I started realizing, oh my God, I was in love with different movies like Hello Dolly and with Funny Girl. And I was like, these are actual stage productions. And so then I started wanting to get into that. And I kind of transitioned out of wanting to be a dancer into a theater artist around middle school, I would say. And then in high school is where it really took off because I was doing community theater in Oklahoma at the time. And then I was also a part of our high school speech and debate teams or national forensics team. So I was acting in competitions around the state and around the country. So I really fell in love with um, performing in that regard in high school. And it wasn't until actually pretty late where I was like, this is something that I could like actually pursue. I kind of always viewed it as just a like after school activity. And then there was kind of a switch when I went from one like community theater place to another. I ended up going to this place in the hometown I grew up in of Norman called the Sooner Theater, and they really kind of fostered my love for performing in a much more serious and well-rounded way. So I would say those experiences really informed the way that I wanted to pursue this later on.
I, I love that you grew up in the South. I'm from
Yeah.
Texas.
Oh my
So
God. Yes. Where in Texas are you from?
Dallas, Texas. So my sisters both went to OU for
Oh
school.
my God. No way. So I grew up literally right down the street from OU. I grew up like right around Campus Corner.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and my mom was a professor at the OU School of Health and Sciences up in Oklahoma City. So I just always grew up in that world. OU is very near and dear to my heart. So shout out to OU.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, one of them was on the gymnastics team there, and you probably know about the gymnastics team there.
Of course. Hello. That's insane. Congrats to your sister. That is a huge, huge deal. Jesus.
Yes, absolutely. Like insane. And I love
Wow.
that. I feel like a lot of theater people like on Broadway national tours right now have
Hmm.
actually gone to school in Oklahoma recently. So,
Yeah. I gotta say, when I was in high school, um, I think that it has kind of shifted and changed since I was in high school in
yeah.
when did I graduate? In 2015? And but it was kind of like a thing in our hometown that it was a really big deal when someone from Norman made it into the musical theater department because they are very particular about who they bring in because they are really scouting for talent nationwide. And so they if you make it into the OU musical theater department, it's a big deal, especially if you're from Norman. Um, so yeah, Oklahoma is really we
Yeah.
got some quiet hitters there.
Yeah, I feel like it's like so unexpected, but it's like, oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yes, totally.
This is awesome.
I was just talking to um so the guy that plays our Harry, Matthew, um he is in a relationship with this incredible theater actress Carrie who just made her debut as a standby in Wicked a few weeks ago.
Yes, yes.
And Carrie is also from Oklahoma. So shout out to Carrie, shout out to Oklahoma.
She was actually a guest on here in like 2020. I saw
Oh
her.
my God.
So small.
Yes, she is it's such the
Oh,
theater community is such a small world and she is such a lovely human being and
oh God.
so talented. Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
insane. Well, I want to talk about your talent specifically because
Oh,
you went to Boston Conservatory, first of all, I
I
saw.
did.
And
I did.
that's a good program, speaking of good programs.
Yeah.
So, how did going there shape how you like approach storytelling and and collaborating in theater?
Yeah. Something that I would say is and I don't feel bad saying this because I know a lot of people from Boco would say this, is both a really good thing and also sometimes a hindrance, is that Boco is a huge school. There are so many people at our school. So from the very beginning, you are put into the theater community in a way that prepares you for the real world, in the sense that you are having to define yourself in a very clear and delineated way very, very early on. It's my class when we first started was something like 65 people or something. It dwindled down over the years, but
Right?
um, when you're going to school with 65 other musical theater artists, you got to find a way to stand out.
Yep.
And that can be really hard, but it can also be really beneficial for building yourself up and bolstering your self-esteem and your self-worth in this world and understanding, because just like with anything else, specifically Broadway, national tours, theater in general is another industry. So having to make your way in the industry is a really important facet that I think Boko is really, really good at defining. And I would say that's probably the biggest thing I learned was just how to stand out from a crowd, how to um, have faith in my own skills and my own and confidence in my skills and understand that a lot of the decisions that are made, a lot of these things that happen in our industry are never that personal. It's not a evaluation of your talent or your self-worth. It's just about like sometimes someone fits the costume. Sometimes someone is half an inch shorter or taller and that is what they need. It's like these little decisions. So I would
Yep.
say Boko was really, really good at preparing me for those kinds of things. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's so true. Like it's like never really like never something to overthink about when like you don't get something because it's just like minuscule things, I feel like.
Totally, totally. And like I remember when I was first auditioning for Potter, I it was I think the first time I ever auditioned for Potter was in 2022 or 2021 or something. I auditioned for this show for years before I got it. And I genuinely I think some of the decisions were like back when I first auditioned, it was, right after the pandemic hit and I had let my hair grow out and it was down to here. I used to have hair all the way down to here. And I was like, I am positive that was a determining factor too. It's all these like little decisions that you don't really have that much control over.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's odd. You can't take these things too personal. And I would say Boko did a really good job at like making things um impersonal, but also like being able to hone in on the things that you can make personal, if that makes sense.
Yes. And I'm curious because your resume is like there's a lot of very different shows on your resume.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how do you go about picking the work that you do? Or like if you get an audition for something or like see an audition for
Mm.
something, how do you go about like saying like that's what I want to do that?
Yeah. Hmm. That's really interesting. I don't know if I've given that much thought. I think for me, um, it's more of like I don't know. I think just with any other artist in this world, there are things that like I've always wanted to do, like tick a box off the list. There are definitely like projects where I've been like, oh, this is something I'm super passionate about. I like have to be a part of this. And I would say if you talk to any theater artist anywhere as well, there are also projects where you go, I need a check. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Right.
to make it super. Sorry, I hate if that's like super callous, but there are definitely things on my resume where I have been like, I've got to work, and then there have been things on my resume where I've been like, I am super passionate about what I'm doing and this particular show. Um, I would say a couple of the things that I was really excited about was when I did Allegiance, that was super exciting. Um, it's so rare in this world that you find a show where not just the leads, but the majority of the cast is people in the AAPI community. And I think being a part of that, that was one of my favorite theater experiences because um, we all had this baseline collective understanding of what it is to walk through this world as an Asian person, and especially the story that we were telling um, about the Japanese internment camps in the 40s. Having that baseline of understanding, we could build on top of that. And so yeah, projects like that are like super exciting. Um, Things like Potter, it's like when that first came to Broadway, it was the spectacle of Broadway. It
Gosh,
was
yeah.
there's a reason it won all of those Tonys and it has garnered all of this success and has been on Broadway for so
Right.
many years. It's because it is a moment. And that's also why I auditioned for it for so many times because I was just like, I have to be a part of the show. It's just
Magic.
there's yeah, it's truly magical. And um there's just like a feeling inside. Like I don't know really how else to describe it except for like, I don't know, when there's something that like actually like speaks to you in art, I think that we can all understand that in some regard, whether it's theater, whether that's TV or movies. Like when there's something that speaks to you, it just like it clicks and like it like keeps pulling you in. And there are a lot of projects on my resume that are exactly like that, that I've just been like, I have to do it. I have to.
Yes. And I saw that Allegiance was the East Coast premiere on
Yeah, yeah,
there.
yes,
So that's
yes.
also really, really cool to
Yeah,
get to premiere something.
that was really, really exciting. And that was at Speakeasy Stage Company in Boston. And that at the time, um, Paul Daniel, who was our director for that, he was also a teacher at BOCO, and he was teaching junior year musical theater. And I hadn't actually had him yet when I was auditioning for the show. And then when I auditioned for it, he was like, "Oh my God, you go to BOCO? I teach at BOCO. Like, are you?
That's
What
incredible.
year are you going to be in?" So it was kind of like a kismet moment. Like I have found that a lot of the shows that I have been a part of in my breadth of work have been moments of like serendipity. Like things have just kind of fallen into place in a really like beautiful way that I can't even really explain. Um, yeah, that was a really beautiful and exciting thing to be a part of. And also, I think the thing that I really loved about it the most was that the people at Speakeasy and Paul in particular, they were um, so caring and specific about listening to our experiences as Asian people and crafting a show that not just was something that we could all be proud of, but something that was truly collaborative. And yeah, I loved that. That's genuinely one of my favorite experiences. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Well, I was like, East Coast premiere, that's huge. And also, you were talking about like art, you were emphasizing like the importance of art earlier. And I'm like, speaking of which,
Mm, mm.
also, you did a show at ART.
Did, yes. The
Yeah.
Donkey Show. That's
And
right.
I looked it up because I have like kind of heard of it, but I didn't know what it
Mm,
was about. So it's
yeah.
disco oriented.
Yeah. So this is a really I often forget. No, I don't forget that I did that, but I did it for kind of a like I was more of like a vacation swing for that show. So I kind of came in and out of the show throughout the space of like a couple years. But that is one of the I miss it so much. And when it closed in Boston, it was a true like hit to the Boston theater community because it was such a staple, especially when I was there in college. But Diane Paulus, who created the Donkey Show, um, she created this 70s disco immersive retelling of A Midsummer Night's Dream. And it's all told through like 70s disco music. And it is a true like immersive club environment that like all of like I played one of the fairies, Peace Blossom, in this production. And at the beginning there was a pre-show before the actual show began that was like you came into this space and it was an actual club. So all of the fairies, we were like basically go-go dancing. And then once the show began, we would do all of our things and like we would go through the motions and blah 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 blah. And but that was such an amazing experience. And um
So fun.
truly like so unique and unlike anything that had been done before. And I miss it so much and I wish it was still in Boston at the ART. um and yeah, even like looking up googling pictures, I you can like Google pictures of Club Oberon, which is where it was set, and it is the space, the pictures just do not do it justice. It was an experience unlike anything you could have ever experienced. And oh gosh, I miss that. I always forget that that was a part of my breath of theater.
I mean, well, I was thinking while you were talking about it, I was like,
Mm.
I wonder August Wilson what they're doing.
Yeah, and funny that you mentioned August Wilson. So one of my friends that I did the Donkey Show with was my friend Marty, who is now in Cabaret at the August Wilson. And I ran into them the other day, and I just I forget that like these like experiences that we had with these people, they are truly transformative in a way that like I sometimes don't harken back to until I'm like face to face with it. And I ran into Marty on the street and I was just like, oh my gosh, it was kind of in passing. We were just passing by each other. And I got to thinking and I was like, that was such an amazing experience because it happened so quick. And that was my one of the first times that I came into a show and I was learning what it was like to be a replacement in a show. And those rehearsal processes are intense and they are quick and they expect a lot of you. And I just remember Marty being so like caring and kind of fostering me along as we were going through this process. And yeah, that was so special. But yeah, who knows what's going into the August Wilson nest? That would be truly phenomenal. I would gag for it,
That would
literally.
be like like how perfect would that be to go from Cabaret to something like that? Like
So good, so good.
I feel like there is a show, August Wilson, and
I know. Yeah, I was, you know,
that. I was like, cute.
right, my TikTok is kind of full of like theater news, theater ponderings, blah 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 blah. And I just saw someone talking about the musings of what was going into the August Wilson
Yeah,
next, and I can't quite remember what it was, but I do fear there is something going into the August Wilson
I feel
after.
like I'm. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna confirm
Okay, please do, please do.
because I'm like, is it going into? Am I wrong? No, it's not. Okay, never mind. I don't know. I was like, what is chess going into? But that's Imperial. Okay.
Oh my God, Jess. I
Yes.
can't wait. Oh my God.
So I want to talk about your Broadway
Mm.
debut.
Yeah.
Um, First of all, huge congrats. Second, what was you talked about the audition process being like you went in several times.
Yeah.
What was your audition process for the most recent time like?
Yeah, so this is really interesting. They all kind of bleed into each other, to be honest. The very first time I auditioned, it's actually funny. Eric Peterson, who plays our Scorpius right now,
Yeah.
um, when I was auditioning for the first time, I was auditioning with him to be Scorpius. It was kind of like we were going along in the audition process together. And that first year that I auditioned for the show, I think I did, including the movement calls, I think I did maybe 8 auditions, 8 or 9. And then I didn't end up getting it. And then I came back in um, maybe a year or a year and a half later to do the tour auditions.
Okay.
And that round of auditions was not as many because they had already seen me, but I think that was about maybe 4 or 5, maybe, including part of the I'm not sure who you've talked to in my show, but part of the audition process is a FOI audition, which is basically where they fly you and you
Yes,
have
yes, yes.
to go up and spin around and do flips and prove that you can do it.
That's
So I had to
awesome.
do it's actually such a fun time. Especially if you're I know there are some people in our show that are scared of heights and that was like their nightmare. But for me, I was like
I,
just like flying around the this like warehouse and doing flips and
yeah,
swimming down. It's a good time. So I think
that sounds awesome.
when I did the tour audition, I did 4 auditions and a FOI audition. And then for this past time for my Broadway debut, because they had seen me all of these times before, and because they knew the breadth of my work and basically what I was going to come in and do, I just did 1 audition for this, which was so lovely. So I basically I was in LA at the time. I flew from LA to New York and did the audition and then flew back and then about a month later got the call that I had booked it and here we are today.
Yes, and it's your Broadway debut, which is like
Yes, yeah.
very, very. It just adds to the magic. So,
Yeah.
do you think that for the movement auditions, do you think
Mm,
that the ballet experience that you had when you were younger
mm,
helped? Because I feel like with ballet, I feel like it's like a building block for everything in the theater world, including acting, because you're acting with that.
Totally. I would say it was a really solid baseline to come in with. I would say just in general for theater, exactly like you said, ballet, dance, any sort of technical training is a phenomenal baseline to have for these kinds of calls, for these kinds of auditions. And then on the flip side of that, being able to know that you have your technique, know that you are able to do XYZ, you can run around a space and be okay. And then relinquishing all of that and throwing that out the window and just being able to move through a space organically is also something that like lends itself to the dance world. So having that skill set of technique is really good, but then also having the skill set to be able to release all of that and then be like, okay, because actually part of this audition for Potter actually is we call it movement at our show. It's not considered dance. Like our associates are considered movement associates as opposed to associate choreographers because obviously there is dancing in the show, but
Yes.
and it's very intense, but it's movement with story. And so because of that, like it's a whole different kind of world that we exist in. And um when we were going through the audition process, they were very intentional about saying, relinquish all of your dance technique. We want to see the story behind your movement. We're not necessarily as concerned about whether you are technically proficient or whether you can improvise the best. It's more about, can you tell this specific story that we are asking for in this moment? So that's the technique of ballet was a really good baseline, but then also some of the training that I had from my schooling was also really good to be able to be like, okay, but then how do I get my point across through this, through the flick of a finger or through like the like forward movement of my shoulder. It's all these little things that like you don't think actually have a lot of meaning, but then what they are looking for is so specific that it ends up having meaning. So yeah.
Yes. And what I love about the show is it's very,
Mm,
and it's an ensemble heavy production,
yeah, yeah.
and you all are like the key to the story. Ensemble.
Yeah, they were so great, and the entire team at Potter, our entire associate team from the get-go, were very adamant and passionate about allowing us to feel that this is a group piece. Like we have the leads of our shows, but the piece as a whole would not work without every single person in that show. And in fact, one of my friends, Zach, in the show, he recently was on a leave of absence and came to watch the show, and which he came back and was basically like the perspective that I got from that was so wonderful because we go through the motions every day, and I'll be totally honest, can sometimes forget that like this cape swoosh like means something.
Yes.
And like it's because when you're doing something 8 times a week,
It's a
me
job.
doing this, sometimes can feel like a job. It's the most privileged, wonderful job in the world. But sometimes when I'm swooshing a cape across a bed, it is just a okay, I gotta do this thing real quick. But what he came back with and what I have been holding on to for the past few weeks in some of our shows was that you really do forget that every single moment, every single movement in the show was set so intentionally and so purposefully so in a way that um, you really get to see what this whole world means as a whole. And with one singular piece missing, it does not work.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a truly collaborative ensemble piece. Um, yeah, and we're so lucky that that is the way that it is because I feel like a lot of times with some different shows, it is very delineated. It's the ensemble and it's the leads, and that's a wonderful thing, and that is a precedent for a reason. But also, like, it's wonderful to see these shows that come together, and it's so you know intermingled, and it's not there's not one clear through line of what it's supposed to be. It's kind of this entire world that they've created. So yeah, anyways.
Well, I was talking earlier with Bradley, and
Yes,
I was saying that there could be no talking and the story would still come across.
100%. And I would say also in the same vein, um, there are a lot of people that or a lot of the people that I know who have come to see the show who aren't like huge Potter fans and who have been like, what do I need to do to see the show? And I was like, genuinely, I think you can come see the show without having any, pretty much any knowledge of what the franchise is to begin with. Because at the end of the day, it is a story about interpersonal relationships, whether that be between a father and a son, or a wife and a husband, or a student and another student. It's all about what our relationships are to each other, both literally and physically, but also emotionally. So I think that absolutely correct. Like I do feel like if you could understand the show with no words, you could understand the show having no prior context of what it is, because they have crafted this world that is so immersive, and so easy to understand, because it's a story that I think all of us can, grasp onto in some way, struggles with any sort of relationship, period. Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Yes. And I also want to ask is
Hmm.
um what's your I'm gonna go with what's your favorite magical moment on stage first, and then I'm gonna get to another question.
Okay, great. Oof. Hmm. I gotta say, I don't actually get to see it because I'm during the moment I'm doing a transition. I'm doing a cloak swoosh, so I don't get to see it every night. But I really love the moment where Harry is leaving his office and he goes to his phone booth and he disappears in the phone booth. It's like right at the
Okay.
top of the show. Um, and it's a very quick moment, but for me, it just really like, I don't know, it just like catapults you into the world. I know I was actually talking to Bradley earlier, and he was saying that one of his favorite moments, I think, was the the cloaks at the beginning,
Yes, yeah,
um,
yeah.
at platform 9 3/4. And that
It's
is
insane.
such it's such a integral part of our show. I would say our associate movement director, Chelsea, would say it is the moment that catapults us into the wizarding world. Um, and because of that, it is such a magical moment. And I 100% understand that. But for me personally, that it I don't know, the phone booth, it looks so cool. It's so well executed every night.
Like
And
it's it's feel magical.
yeah.
I also I didn't mention this earlier, but also
Hmm.
the train is like
Yes,
insane.
absolutely bonkers. Yeah, our the people backstage that make all of these things happen every night are truly like magicians in their own right, and
Yes,
like true wizards in their own right. Like the
Hogwarts level.
people, exactly, the our stage crew, our stagehands, our technicians, everyone, the people that make this show happen are like, there are still things within our show that I don't know how they do, because it's funny because you go through like, yeah, it's all magic. Like you go through the show and like you obviously have your set track, like I have my own track in the show, but there are things that like I still am like, I don't know how it's happening, but great, it looks amazing.
You're like, I think I deserve my actual letter
Yeah.
to the school.
100%, 100%.
Like, come on. And were you a Harry Potter fan before being cast? I feel like is such an important question to ask.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I'm gonna be totally honest. I was not a big I was not a big fan of the books, not because I didn't like the books, but because unfortunately, it's something I don't love about myself. I'm not a huge reader. I wish I was. I'm not. I have tried to force myself to
Oh,
be. I'm just not. But I grew up with the movies. I went to so many, some of my birthday parties in middle school were me going to the midnight premieres back when midnight premieres were a thing. And I used to go to those with my like friends and was a huge fan. And still to this day, like my sister and I often will watch the movies, do marathons, do especially around the holidays. Like that's when I feel like they feel the most like in my heart nostalgia is like during the holidays. So yeah, I was a huge fan growing up, specifically of the movies. And yeah,
Oh my gosh. And like now every time you watch it, you're like you cry because like there's so many people in it who are like now gone and like legends who are gone.
100%. Yeah, I remember when we were going through our rehearsal process in the fall is when Dame Maggie Smith passed.
Yes.
And I remember thinking, wow, like her legacy, not just within this franchise, but just in general, has
Yeah.
meant so much to so many people. And to even slightly like dip a toe, dip a pinky into that world and be a part of that legacy in any regard, like what an absolute honor. And to have been doing this show, and to be have been rehearsing this show while we were remembering all of these great people that we've lost, like it's everything. It means everything.
I yeah, I mean, I was watching the movie and then I finished the seventh movie and then I got the news and then I rewatched the entire
Oh
series again.
God, just heartbreak. What a way to find out. Oh my gosh.
I woke up like the next day and I was like, no. Then I'm
God. Yeah,
like, I
that
guess I
was
gotta
a
rewatch.
gut punch. And I have to say, I also like outside of Potter, I just love Maggie Smith in general. I always think of Maggie in this. There's this thing that the BBC made that was a I think Tea with the Dames. It was like an interview thing. And I always think of this specific clip of her and Judi Dench
Yeah.
talking about their careers in the US versus the UK. And they're just iconic. And she was an absolute legend. And it was a huge blow to our world, our industry, and especially Potter when she passed last year.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I want to get to a more fun question.
Okay, great.
I mean, Maggie Smith, queen, and
Yes.
RIP, like
Yes.
literal legend.
Mm.
What is your Hogwarts house in real life?
Yeah, okay. My real Hogwarts house is Slytherin, which people often are like, that doesn't make any sense because people I in I would say in general, I'm usually more of like an upbeat, bubbly person. Not that Slytherins can't be, but that's just not the, I would say, stereotype of
Yeah,
what Slytherins are. Um, but I would say in my heart of hearts, I am a Slytherin. So when I found out I was one, it
you're
made sense to me.
yeah, you're like, okay, that tracks.
Yeah, ambition and I don't know. I always have described myself as an introvert who happened to pursue a career in a very extroverted world, and I really cherish my alone time, and those are kind of things that I would categorize as a Slytherin. So yeah, wait, what's your Slytherin house, or what's your Hogwarts
Uh,
house?
Hufflepuff.
Aha, yes. All my favorite people in our show are Hufflepuffs. I think Bradley's a Hufflepuff, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
that's what he said.
Yeah, yeah, I just love that boy so much.
Oh my gosh. It was 8 a.m. my time and I was like, okay,
Oh,
great way to wake up.
God bless you. 8 a.m. Oh my gosh. Wait, it's 8 a.m.
No,
Where
no,
are you
no.
right now?
It's 11 a.m. my time right now.
Okay,
So
okay. You're
it's
in LA.
I'm in LA. Yeah.
Okay,
West
got it.
Coast.
Hey yo, gotta love the West Coast.
Yes. I I also have to ask,
Yeah.
um, I feel like this is a really important question, is
Hmm.
what is it like to be part of Cursed Child making your Broadway debut as a non-binary performer?
Yeah, yeah. Um that is probably the thing that I would say is the most important thing for me is existing in this world specifically, um as a non-binary person, um is so important, because I think that regardless of anything, I know that every night there are young people, kids, even adults who come to see our show that identify exactly as I do and are hoping to see that kind of representation. And if I can even be a small part of them flipping through our show bill and seeing my pronouns next to my name and going, there's someone in this show who is a part of my community and who exists in this world the way that I do and who sees the world the way I do, that's everything to me. It is absolutely everything. And yeah, I would say especially right now in our country in our political climate, um, it's so important for every single space to have these kinds of to have us to have non-binary people to have trans people in these spaces to show that baby we're here, we're not going anywhere whether you want us here or not.
Yes. No, absolutely. And to, I mean, people see your pronouns in the playbill and they're like, okay, I belong here.
Yes, yes, it creates space for people to not just come into our world, not just come into the wizarding world and feel like they're escaping, but they're joining. Like
Yes.
that's something that I feel like is so important. Like I do think that the scapegoat for a lot of art is people say, I want it to be an escape. I want it to be a moment where like you leave your world behind. But I actually would counter that and would say it's important to bring your world with you into this world because we never truly leave who we are truly. It's just about what we as human beings can like pull from these different worlds and take with us back to ours. And um, existing in this world as a non-binary person and allowing people to see that and be like, we see each other, like
Yes.
that's so important to me. And it means everything to me.
I mean, I love that you get to be a part of telling the story and making sure like people know that they are part of the world, like
Yeah.
part of the Harry Potter universe,
Yes.
like no matter what anyone.
Exactly. Yeah, this our story, our the wizarding world in general, um, has reached this place where I feel like it transcends so much, and it is truly like I remember I follow this guy on YouTube, Curtis Connor, who I love very much, and he did this whole deep dive into the wizarding world. And at the end of this deep dive, he actually spoke to someone who was non-binary, who I think existed in this world in some way, and why it was important for them to exist in this world. And I always think back to that interview because I agree. I think that regardless of anything, we exist in every space, period, whether or not you know we're there or not. And so, and frankly, there are people who will come to see our show and will not maybe fully understand their identity. And maybe they'll come to see our show and look at our pronouns and go, that's interesting. What is that? And then we'll leave and go on and do their own research. That's a beautiful thing too. I think just creating a space to know that again we are all here and that like no one is going anywhere is like it means so much.
It's very it's beautiful, and
Mm.
love the theater community because of that.
Yes, me too, me too.
Does such a good job with
Mm.
like you belong.
Yeah, I would say so. And like especially in the past I would say 10 years it's really transformed in the way that we have conversations about trans and non-binary people and the way that we exist in the theater community and the shows that we're in. um, I would say even 10 years ago, it wasn't the trans non-binary um, community on Broadway was not as vast. And now I feel like it is so vast and there are so many amazing artists. And it is such a privilege to even be a small footnote in the non-binary community on Broadway.
Yes. I and okay, so I have to ask some more like fun Harry Potter related questions.
Totally, totally. Go for it.
So if you had Polyjuice Potion, first of all, I asked this earlier. Oh, who would you transform to? It could be anyone in
Oh,
the world. It could be a Harry Potter character, or it could be just like anyone who
mm.
you love.
Oh my gosh, that is such a good question. Can I give two answers?
Yes.
Okay, the first person, because we talk about this all the time backstage about like we wish there was a way that we could all just one day during the show just switch characters. Everyone does a different character for the night, just for fun, just to like see what happens. If I had Polyjuice and I could transform into someone from our show, I would transform because I know you've spoken to Ali Ray before. I would
Yes.
transform into Ali Ray because the way that I have to be Myrtle, I have to be Myrtle. I've
So
gotta do it. Also, frankly, I would just want to transform into Ali Ray because she is maybe one of the baddest people I've ever met. She's so wonderful. She is my work husband. I love her so deeply. So I would say if there was someone from the show I could transform into, it'd be Ali Ray. Um, if there was someone in this world I could transform into, the woman who inspired me to want to be an actor to begin with, Sandra O.
oh,
She's in New York right now because she's going to be in 12th Night at the Public, and
really?
um, I first of all have to go see it. I have to because it's going to be amazing. But more than that, she is the reason that I wanted to become an actor and like just to like get a peek into her world. Um, that would be everything.
Oh my gosh. The I wonder if she knows like how iconic her part in Princess Diaries has become over the year.
The
Like,
queen is coming to
oh,
Grove High School. Boom. She is so
moment.
brilliant. She is so brilliant. And something that I love about her too, specifically as someone as part of the AAPI community, is that she has her career has existed in this way, and intention versus perception is a huge thing. Like I'm sure she did not intend to go out into the industry and have this breadth of a career that fostered a way for Asian people to be in this industry without it being solely about stories about our race. Those things are so important. The stories about Asian people and our experiences are so important. But something that I also love about Sandra O's career is that she has played so many characters that have been her, and the characters happen to be Asian because
Yeah.
she is an Asian
Yeah.
woman. And
Yeah.
that's something that I think is so she did not set out, I'm sure, to achieve that in her career, but that's something that just based on the roles that she has done has happened. And that's something that I love about her so much. So if I could polyjuice into Sandra Oh, I do it in a heartbeat.
You're like, I need to be in her shoes.
Yes. Also, speaking of Ali Ray has been going on a hair journey with her curly hair. And there have been several days where she has come in and I've been like, God, it's giving Sandra Oh. It's giving Sandra Oh. So shout out to Ali Ray and shout out to Sandra Oh.
You're like, I have your costume for Halloween
Yeah.
October.
Don't 100%.
Oh my
100%.
gosh, that's amazing. I loved when she came out after the show. She was like, I was Myrtle because people don't recognize me on stage.
Oh my God. Yeah. Do you know what's funny is um so my character Craig wears a beanie throughout like the entire show. And I've had so many people come up to me being like, I loved your green wig. Why did your character have a green wig on? And I was like, do you know what? I get it because it's so hard to see up there. Like, especially I know because I have sat in the back of the balcony at our
Right.
theater before, and you do have to it can be hard to see back there. So yeah, I'm often like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
Isaac. I often at the stage door I'll go, hi, nice to meet you. And if I'm asked who I am, it's usually
Wig.
I'm the one who dies. That was me.
Or just start saying green wig.
Yeah, yeah, Did you catch the green wig? That was me, baby.
Yeah. Yes. They should, I mean, take advantage of that and just do a green wig. No?
Hello, I'm telling you, I'd love a green hair moment. I think I could pull it off.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. What's a magical object from the Wizarding World you would keep?
Ooh. Um, hmm. Okay, well, actually, ironically, this is funny that you say that because this is so I'm not certain I should even be talking about this. Actually, I probably should have taken this down because I'm not sure how allowed this is. But okay, so every night at our show, um, Harry and Ginny get a note from an owl telling them that Albus and Scorpius have gone missing, that they did not show up on the Hogwarts Express. And they get a note every night, and usually what happens is it ends up on the ground and it ends up getting thrown away. And one day I was walking backstage and I saw it and I was like, this is gonna get thrown away.
And you're like, I need it.
So I took it. And this is also just like this is further proof how like detailed and specific our show is. Like this is a note that Professor McGonagall sends to Harry and Ginny. And you know, it's a rolled up little note that the audience does not see. They see them open it, but you do not get to see what is it frankly could say nothing and it would still be totally fine.
Oh,
But it just goes to show our props department are so wonderful because it is a full letter and it is signed by McGonagall and it is exactly as you know it says, as you know, the safety of our students is the highest priority of the teaching staff. However, I regret to inform you that your son Albus and his fellow student Scorpius have both gone missing from Hogwarts. Like it's so detailed. It's so anyways, I don't this probably is not allowed, but I did steal this from the theater because they have a new one every single night. Um
you're like, whatever.
so this is it. This is my little note from uh McGonagall that I
Like,
just have in my home.
you're like,
So I
I
would say
actually stole something.
I did and you know if anyone out there is watching and I get in trouble for this, my bad.
You're like, no, I did what? Me?
That me this just show an owl brought this to me. Like I don't know
Yeah,
how this got here.
it was personally delivered. I found it outside.
Thank you, Becca. You're backing me up here. Thank you very
Listen,
much.
I'll be your lawyer if it's
Thank you. Oh, God bless you. Thank you.
yeah, yes, absolutely. Um, so I have to ask, what's a
Hmm.
dream role or type of storytelling that you would love to explore on
Mm.
whatever stage, Broadway stage, off
Yeah.
Broadway?
Ali and I have talked about this a lot because we both have really wanted to be in a little night music. I am dying to be Henrik. I just like would love to dive into that. I think that he is so interesting. When I was at Boko, um, that was the first taste I got of a little night music because Paul Daniel, who directed me in Allegiance, he was also my junior year musical theater teacher, and that was a scene study class. So he basically would give us scenes to study over the course of a few weeks, and then we would perform them in front of our class. And one of the scenes that we got during our Sondheim unit that I got was the beginning section of A Little Night Music, which is Now Soon Later. And I got to really like do a little deep dive into Henrik as a character and got to understand him a little bit more and who he is as a person and why he is the way he is. And I would love to like gnaw into that a little bit more. And Ali has also said that she has wanted to do that too. Like I think she would be amazing as so many different characters in that show, frankly. But I would yeah, such a good production. So yeah, I would say A Little Night Music. I'd love to be Henrik one day if I could. I know that actually in like a couple months ago, Audra said that the two roles that she wanted to play before she died was Mama Rose, which she just did, and she
Yes,
wanted to be in A Little Night Music. So
you can be in it with her.
hey, I would love it. Shout out to you, Audra. I'm coming with you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You and Allie in the same show as Aud. Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
God, I would kill for that.
Oh my gosh, it's such a perfect show. I think it might
So
be
good.
my favorite Sondheim
Is
musical.
that your I do fear it is I think it's that one, and then I also love Sunday. Those two are constantly like back and forth for me.
I don't know. I've seen both, and I
Yeah.
just like Little Night Music was just it left. I'm in awe.
It
Every
does
time I
it
listen.
does scratch something in the brain, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh, 100%. 100%. Um, so looking back on your journey, what would you tell your
Mm.
younger self now?
Oh gosh. Um it's so funny. So 2 days ago when it was my birthday, um it was my birthday fell on a Tuesday this year, so it was the first day of shows for the week. And I had this tiny little moment with Eric Peterson, who plays our Scorpius, right before I come on stage to do the trick cloak moment at the top of the show that Bradley loves so much.
Oh,
And
I love
I
it.
was and that we all love. And
It's so good.
I always come off stage and I stand in this very specific place next to Eric, and we usually, you know, exchange pleasantries. Hey, have a good show, blah 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 blah. And on Tuesday when it was my birthday, Eric was like, "Happy birthday!" I said, "Oh, thank you so much." And he said to me, "Gosh, what would your 15-year-old self think about you performing in a Broadway show on your birthday? Wouldn't they just be so proud?" And that just made my entire show, because I again, we kind of talked about this earlier, but sometimes we go through the motions. Like there are definitely days where I come to the show and I think, okay, I'm pulling
That's
something out of me to perform tonight, and I'm so grateful to be here. But just like with everything else, sometimes it can be, I'm gonna go through the motions tonight. And not that I'm not giving 100%, but sometimes my brain is elsewhere while I'm swooshing my cloak. I'll be totally honest. But with all that being said, um, I often forget that, when I was 15 in high school, growing up in the middle of Oklahoma, I remember watching, the Broadway vlogs. I remember dreaming of what a privilege it would be to be tired from your Broadway show, be coming home at night and being like, boy, I'm tired because I just did a Broadway show. What a privilege, what an absolute um, joy to get to do that every day. So if I could tell my younger self something, it would just be that, um, I don't know, like your hard work, your determination, your want for this is going to pay off one day. And one day you are going to be performing a Broadway show on your birthday, and you're going to look back on your life and you're going to think, whoa, like
yes.
I can only imagine how proud and excited and in awe my younger self would have been of me getting to perform, doing the thing that I love, doing my dream on my birthday. Like I remember I considered very briefly, especially because it landed on a Tuesday, calling out of the show on my birthday, just because I was like, maybe I want to do something for my birthday.
Right.
But then I remembered I am surrounded by some of the
Yes.
greatest people, some of the greatest artists, people that I have looked up to in my own career. When I found out that Matthew was going to be a part of our show as Harry, I was like gagged, because I grew up watching him and listening to him, and all of these people that I just like are and so in awe of every single day. And I thought, God, what a privilege to actually go to work every day and be surrounded by people that are so wonderful that they make every single day its own wonderful experience. And so I was like, yeah, let me come
Yes.
do a show on my birthday, and it was the most wonderful thing.
Perfect.
And it truly, like, I felt so much love from every single person in that cast, in that building. And God, if my younger self could have felt that moment, they would be so proud and so surprised, frankly, to know that that was going to be my experience on one of my birthdays. Like, just so special. I do not take it for granted. It's so, I still can't believe that this is my job, that I get to do this. I can't believe that after this I'm gonna start getting ready to go do a show tonight. Do you know what I mean? It's like I it's I do not take it for granted. It is so incredible. And yeah, I think I would just tell my younger self that, like, you're going to feel the fruits of your labor in a way that, like, you never thought you would.
All the hard work pays off.
Yeah, it really does. God.
And you also, which is special as a Harry Potter fan, you
Hmm.
also get to be part of the show the year during all the announcements about someone from the universe coming into the show,
That's right. That's right. Yes.
about OG Draco, the actual Draco.
Absolutely insane. I mean, yeah, I can't think of a single person who is not excited for him to rejoin this universe, the Wizarding World, excuse me. And yeah, I believe he came to see our show and he got to meet some of the tour people. And I actually talked to some of the tour people recently, and they say he is just the most wonderful, lovely human being, and that he is just so excited to thrust himself back into the Wizarding World. And yeah, I'm so excited for him. It's been a really exciting time at this show because yeah, it's definitely garnered some attention for sure.
Oh my gosh, it's like such a, people are like, "Oh, childhood is back." Yeah.
The nostalgia aspect is really at play here.
Oh my gosh, absolutely, 100%. So, before I get to my last question, I wanna ask, where can
Yeah,
I follow you on social media to keep up with all you're doing?
sure. Yeah, I mostly it's my full name on social media, which is just at Isaac Phaman Reynolds. Um,
And lower third.
down below, link down below. It's my middle name is often hard to spell, so it's Phaman, but Isaac and then Reynolds is pretty easy. Um, and then, but that's about it. Yeah, that's my handle on most platforms if you want to keep up with things that I'm doing.
Yes, and my last question, they're kind of combined questions, is, first of all,
Hmm.
do you have anything that you'd wanna promote? And then second, what would you want people to walk away feeling after seeing Cursed Child on Broadway?
Yeah. As of right now, nothing to promote. Maybe some things in the mix in the future. So maybe next time I talk to you, I'll have something to promote. But for now, just, come see us down at the Lyric Theater down on 43rd Street here in New York. I'll promote that. Um, but yeah, if there was something I wanted people to take away after seeing our show. Um, Okay, so the other day I was at the stage door, and I actually was not going to stage door. I was going to get dinner in between shows with my partner, and um, these like five little girls and their families came up and they were like, "Oh, could you sign our posters?" Blah 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 blah. I was like, "Yeah, of course, of course." I went and got a pen and we signed away, and I asked what their favorite part of the show was, and they, without missing a beat, were like, the Dementors. The Dementors are my favorite thing. And that's usually, I would say, especially for young
Yes.
people, their favorite part of the show. Because I agree, it's one of the coolest things in our show. It's so insane. Um, and I walked away and I was like, gosh, yeah, like it is such a cool moment, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, if what you take away from the show is the technical aspect, is the story, is if you take anything away from the show, period, we have done our job. If it is something wonderful, if it's something not as wonderful, if you took something away, that's what we want. Our jobs as artists is to put our perspective, our POV onto a specific person, onto a specific moment in time onto a specific scenario and send it out into the world. And however that is received is a wonderful thing. And like I would say, if I could like actually give you something to take away from our show, I would say that like, you know, the full scope of who we are as individuals in this world, um, and as our universes collide with other people's universes, whether that's a father and a son, or whether that's, you know, two friends finding their way in the world, or it's in my specific case, my character's relationships with these two students who I don't happen to like that much, whatever that is,
Yes.
you know, it is, um, it's so important to view our interpersonal relationships with each other in the full scope of what it is. You know, like Albus has his own experiences, just like my character Craig has his own experiences, and how they intersect and how they weave throughout the show, um, is like such a perfect encapsulation of just life. You know, there are people that go through our lives that like we don't interact with that much, and that maybe we see in passing. They're acquaintances. They're, you know, people that aren't even acquaintances, you know, like, or maybe they are best friends, whatever that is. Um, but regardless of that, it is so important to view our relationships in the full scope of our each secular universes, and then also what it means to collide those universes together. And I think that specifically with like Harry and Albus, those two worlds, like Harry as his own person and then Albus as his own person, what they mean as individuals, and then also what it means when they are together and when they collide and when they clash and when they meld perfectly. And I think that's the beautiful thing about our show, is that it is truly a story of finding our footing in our personal relationships, whether that is, again, a father and a son, or, you know, it's me and Albus. It's like two
Yes.
people who don't really interact that much, but what that means in general. So yeah, I would say if you could take away just like being able to walk through this world and, um, understand where your universe sits and where every other person universes sit, and being able to walk through this world and go, yeah, I can understand the full scope of where they're coming from and where they're coming from. And even if you can't, being able to have the full knowledge that like, you know, maybe there will be things that we meld on, and maybe there will be things we won't meld on, and maybe there are things that like we align perfectly on. But that is life. That is just what it is to be a human being, period.
Yep. Yes. And I feel, I mean, we gotta remember that we're all human beings at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Like, it's
exactly.
simple to remember, but it's also hard to remember at the same time.
It
Um,
is so, so hard to remember, I feel like. And I feel like our show does a really good job at reminding people that, like, I think because we have these preconceived ideas of who Harry is specifically, um, we all feel like we know him. We all feel like we understand him, but to really get a glimpse into him as a singular person and all of his experiences that we have seen him go through in the past, and where he has landed now, and how that informs how he interacts with his son and with everyone else in the wizarding world. I think it's our show does a really beautiful job at showing what that does and how we navigate that as human beings.
yes. Oh my gosh, 100%. And I have to say, going back to what you learned at Boston Conservatory,
Hmm.
about being like unique and trying
Yeah.
to be like memorable on stage. You are 100% so memorable to watch on stage.
Oh my gosh, that is
In the
so
show.
kind. Thank
I
you
just
so
gotta say
much.
that.
Oh,
It's been such a pleasure talking with you as well.
thank you so much, Becca. It was so nice talking with
Of
you. And
course.
that was so kind of you to say. Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was like one of my first thoughts, but also I was like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna save that.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. It was such a
It's
pleasure
so
talking to
true.
me to you. You are so wonderful.
Thanks for watching this episode of Backstage with Becca B. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV. Or for more exclusive content from this interview and more, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Backstage with Becca B. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give me a 5-star rating. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!